This is game number 4, and it's looking pretty good for white, isn't it? The only problem is, I am black. How do I get out of this? Stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. This is game number 4 of the Winter Wonderland tournament that I played in Arkansas. So I am black here. I'm coming off 2 longer games earlier in the day. Got a little bite to eat and came back ready to play, kind of. I was mentally exhausted, and I think my game kind of showed in the opening. So here we are. We're going to jump right into it, though. This is lead chess, so I'm going to turn this on so we can kind of see what the evaluation bar suggestions are saying. And let's turn on this, too. Alright. So the game starts with d4. Every game was a London variant. I play d5. So let's just go through the game here. Pretty typical opening for me and for him. So what would you capture back here? I know this is just an accuracy by him. I chose to capture with the pawn. Don't really like where my knight is in this position. So obviously he is up, not up by a ton, but it is up nonetheless. Alright, so knight here, so obviously now we have 3 attackers on the a6 pawn. Blunder. But I decided to defend the pawn, which was a blunder, according to lead chess. I want to exchange knights. We do. All right, so here we go. Now we have one. Let me get my mouse in here. So we have 1, 2, 3 attackers on this pawn. I only have 1 and 2. That pawn should drop. First, let's do a counter attack. So at this point, I have to give up that pawn, but maybe I can get some counterplay. All right. Pawn drops. I don't know if it was around this point or not, but I had to tell myself, like, play my game. You're tired, exhausted, but you play to win. Blunder by white. Look at that change. Alright, about 2.2. Takes, and now black is winning. Now I'm actually winning, barely, but winning. So he drops back, which allows me to take this pawn. So now, material wise, I just equalized the game. He takes, I take. So basically now we have a double rook end game, unless it's either end game here or end of the middle game. He moves that pawn up, gives his, I guess, his king an escape square if needed, but drops his pawn in the process. So now I am up by +1. Check. No fear though. I have an escape. He attacks my f7 pawn. I move my king to protect and be in a relatively safe spot. He moves his king. Check. So he can either go back to the first rank or move up to the third rank, which he goes to the third. So here, if he doesn't protect the h7 pawn, or I'm sorry, h2 pawn, it's going to be a checkmate. So that's what he does. And notice I have this passed pawn here. So there is a time to push this. Looks like I did not pick the right time. So I'm still winning, but not winning it by as much now. Wants to exchange, but I say I'm going to check first. Get your king up a square. So again, if he moves this rook, my rook comes in and takes the h2 pawn, and it's checkmate. But I capture. He pushes. No fear. Capture. So now my g4 pawn is protected. Alright. So here, back up a second. Here I want to move my rook here. My rook from b3 to h3. That would be a checkmate. But he goes here. So this does a couple things. It's now attacking my g pawn on g4, but now I can't take with the rook, or I could, but then it's going to be an exchange, and he's actually going to take that pawn back. Notice the evaluation bar here, though, does say there's mate in 15. I can't calculate that far ahead, so I don't see it. I'm pretty sure I was winning here, unless I made a big mistake somewhere, because I kept seeing checkmate threats, but could not find the winning move, or he was able to find ways to delay or stop it. So I go here. So notice, now it still says checkmate. Oh, 4-14 now. Captures on d4. This is a blunder. This actually, now this is where I see the mate. Here, captures. I'm just going to ignore that. Opponent does not see the checkmate threat. So even though he is attacking my f-pawn, which would deliver a check to me, I deliver checkmate. So I hope you enjoyed this game. Let's look at a couple of different lines here. I'm going to make a couple different suggestions, but I appreciate you watching. Alright, so I like to, at this level, like I've been doing all of my recent games here, is looking at the blunders first, and then maybe going to misses. I'm not going to really worry too much about inaccuracies. Anyways, let's jump right into blunder. So this is my first blunder. So we're actually even here, it says right now. So computer says to take here, so bishop for a knight. Why didn't I do that? Because one thing that would do potentially is later cause a weakness on the pawn structure. So if I take, he takes, he can defend. Let's see what happens. Takes. Right here, add that attacker. Oh. So if he would have tried to defend this one, he loses that pawn. Right here, then I get that pawn. And defends the bishop. But that's already defended by that bishop, so okay. So this, I was trying to add another defender, so I have 3 defenders. That, or I may have been trying to allow my knight to get out. I didn't like that. I had to move my knight back. I think that's what it was. And I didn't want to trade a bishop for a knight. Alright. But there are times where it makes sense to trade a bishop for the knight. And I think in that instance, if I calculate a little further, I would have had enough compensation that it would have made that worth it. Alright, so let's go to the next blunder. Oh, that's my opponent's blunder, so obviously, yeah. Actually, see, this is hard. It seemed like a decent trade, a bishop for a bishop. But then I get mine. Now I have 2 attackers here. He really needs. Oh, computer's trying to move your pawn up right now. What happens if I just do this? It says we're even. So. It's hard for me to fault him on this because it was a trade, but it was a positional. I'm not really seeing the positional. Oh, we're still pretty even. We're even. So obviously he was up by +2, traded. He's up by +1, so oftentimes if you're up, you do trade. But I'm gonna most likely get it back. That's a hard one to see. I can't fault him too much for that one. If you think I'm crazy or if I'm missing something, let me know. Alright, my opponent blundered here. So I obviously played the best move there. Any other blunders? Right here. So yeah, this was a free pawn. However, I'm threatening checkmate. I believe at this point I see it. So, but I'm still already at a mate in 14, so I can't really fault him. I think he missed it, so in one sense you could fault him, but where does it say he should have gone? Oh, check. So even if I did this, I go here. Oh, is he really? Because my king's in the way and blocks. Okay. Alright, let's look at this a little closer. Alright, so let's try this again. If I did this, the best move... Just hit a block. Okay. Alright, so... Wait, what? There's something that I'm missing. It said I had a mate. What just happened? Mate in 14. Best moves here. Block. He takes. I take. Alright, I'm not a computer. I'm not going to be able to see all this. Easy win after that. Okay. We're just going to stop there. Alright, so this is the end of the game. So this is my 3rd win. So I was sitting at 3.5 out of 4. In my first tournament back, trying to make the comeback happen, make it count, and overall very happy with my performance. The computer gave me actually a rating on here of 82% accuracy, which I can't complain too much about that. Even in my beginning, I was frustrated with my performance. Computer says I still played at 92%, so I'm gonna take that as a win, even though maybe I should have realized I was playing a little better than I did. I'm okay with that. So 92%, happy with it. 3.5 out of 4. So I ended up taking first place in my section. So very happy with that. So I'm looking at some more tournaments to get into. It may not be until April before I enter another one, but we will see. But I'll continue doing some online reviews here and there as well. If you have questions or want to know how to use one of these tools a little better or some training things, let me know. Again, thanks for watching. My name's Justin, and I am the Chess Apprentice.